Welcome back. The site of George Floyd's death happened near the corner of 38th in Chicago, about 15 minutes south of downtown Minneapolis, where we are right now, right in front of the Cup Foods store. An employee from that store called police after receiving what he believed to be a fake $20 bill. What happened next would forever change the lives of everyone involved. I spoke with the owner about all the letters of support he's received over the last several months. About how many of these have you received?
Say about 100. This one was on June 8th, 2020. Hello, Mr. Bumayali. I do not know you, but because I've been staying away from the local demonstrations in Albuquerque due to my being in the COVID-19 high-risk category, I need to do something to contribute. I am enclosing a check for $200. I want the money to help George Floyd's family in any way you see fit. Its use is entirely up to you. Thank you very much in helping me help George Floyd's family. Always in peace, David Lopez. Really good support from people that never been in here before. On top of the support we got from the people that have been coming in from our community, it's good to see people from all across the country, you know, be in solidarity with our cause and with what took place and with the justice that, the injustice that happened to George Floyd and his family. Not all of them are nice. That's okay. Some were very rude or threatening, or some were very inappropriate. But again, we just overlook those because the good outweighs the bad.
I'm joined now by the spokesman for Cup Foods, Jamar Nelson. Good morning, Jamar. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Good morning.
Well, I first of all enjoyed sitting down with you and Mahmoud recently, talking about Cup Foods in the store and the struggle of the business over the last several months, showing me those letters of support. Not all of them were nice. Give us the latest as far as the business, how it's going, and currently, especially leading up to the trial.
Well, right now things are steady, and Cup is continuing to service the community as they have for the last 32 years. It's a volatile situation down there, let's be honest. Crime is steadily increasing in the city as well as that specific area. They experienced homicide on Saturday evening there too. Businesses around there are struggling as well to survive. And constituents, the neighborhood community members want the barricades removed. But again, I think that business, because it has been one of the bedrocks of the area, that people have continued to frequent the store, and I think have shown broad support for the store, not only by patronizing it, but by letters and coming in and saying as much as well.
Describe a little bit more about how this affected the employees that work there at the store, especially that night, the days that followed, the clerk who made the 911 call. And as a result, a lot of people don't support the store reopening. It took a while for you guys to reopen back there on the corner of 38th in Chicago. I was there over the weekend, still open, but you can feel, like you said, the tension. It's a bit volatile at times, but you made some changes to help still thrive in those uncertain conditions, right?
Absolutely. Well, the young man that placed the call is still traumatized. It's still hard for him to fathom that all that's happening comes from a placement of a phone call. And we've had to get him some help. Obviously, being a black male and feeling like the weight of the world now is on his shoulders, you know, is burdensome. And so we've had to make sure that we keep him in a good, tight-knit community and family setting, so that he can hopefully at some point start to get over what has been caused. I also think that when you look at this situation as it is, I think a lot of people have forgotten that what should be sought out is justice. And again, we could talk about the expeditious firing of those officers, which I think set precedents around the country. But I think that healing starts when there's a guilty verdict. And there have been things that, as you said, we've done. We've contributed to the daily memorials that people have out there, the mural that's on the side of the wall. There's been young students around there that the CUP has contributed to. So CUP is going to continue to be a steadfast community member despite some of the backlash that they continue to receive. I think that, you know, you've got to have thick skin right now, and you've got to be patient, because a lot of people are still anxious about what will happen, the outcome of this trial, and obviously that's pretty big.
For sure. Even the city has come together. There's Operation Safety Net. The mayor doing a lot to try to keep communication open, to inform people about what they're doing to try to ensure safety, not only downtown, but the square. Like you said, it's a big part of a controversy, debate here over what's going to happen. There was a presser yesterday from the mayor. Let's take a listen.
Earlier this week, you saw hundreds of peaceful protesters gather and march to express their anger, their hope, their frustration. I want to thank them, and I recognize that peaceful protest is not just a major part of the healing process, but an essential part of our democratic process going forward. And I know that so many Minneapolis residents and visitors in the weeks and months ahead will also be protesting. And it's my hope that they can view the example that has already been set by the hundreds that peacefully protested in these last several days.
Jamar, you've been a community member here since the 80s, a long time, and you have seen the city go through so much. And leading up to this trial over the weekend, you know, even though it's volatile in the Cup Foods area, what has been the impression of the events leading up, the marches? Is it something that you expected to be worse? It's been peaceful. There hasn't been much out since day one of this trial, but what is the feel here in Minneapolis?
You know, again, Chandler, I think folks are anxious about the outcome. You know, we just went through the reinstatement of the third-degree charge for former Officer Chauvin. I think that went a long way. I think, again, people want to see justice served. You know, there's a heightened fear of unrest in the city as well, too. And there are community groups such as the other organization that I work for, Mother's Love, that are boots on the ground, that are here to hopefully curtail any anxious moments that happen, that will arise, and continue to be a community voice that works with these folks that come down here that want to peacefully protest. They certainly have that right. I look forward to that, and it's a great way of expression as long as it's peaceful. We know that there are antagonists that will try to sully the good things that they come down and do. I've got a couple of friends that are on Facebook that have been a part of some of the protests that have taken place over the weekend and during the week here. And all of them has been peaceful. I think the Minneapolis police would say the same thing. That's what it's about. It's about expression, and they certainly have the right to do so, but we want to make sure that throughout the trial that they are kept safe, and that the rightful information, because I think that that's what's important too, is that we get truthful, insightful information whether it's via court TV or any other media outlet that someone may use, or word of mouth. I think that folks want to hear truthful, factual information about what's going on in this trial, and I think that that'll absolutely ease some of the tensions until the verdict is given.
Right, for sure. Like you said, a guilty verdict you believe will go a long way in healing and serving justice from the perspective of Cup
Absolutely.
Foods and George Floyd Square. Now, the mayor yesterday did touch on George Floyd Square, the safety concerns, saying the city wants that intersection open as soon as possible, but it's striking a fine balance, right? I know that when I spoke to you in Mahmoud, you guys were for obviously opening up that intersection again, but it's volatile, it's kind of dangerous, and it's usually referred to as an autonomous zone, but you say they don't really like to be called that, right?
Correct. No, they don't like to. They don't like to have it called that. But let's be real. Since those barricades have been put up, it's become a rest haven for crime. And I think that again, when business owners and some were just this week on the news, local news here, expressing the fact that they are losing tens of thousands of dollars because of the crime that's in the area. Look, I think that we can respectfully erect some type of monument that folks can go to and mourn, celebrate, and do all that. But I think that it's asinine to believe that businesses in that area will continue to operate while losing money. That's just not the way business works, right? And I think that it's incumbent upon the city to come up with ways that help these businesses thrive. That also leads to unrest when you have an area that was once vibrant in a minority community that now will soon probably die off and I mean that literally, right? If those barricades aren't removed. And I think the mayor is kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because he wants to keep constituents happy, and he wants to make sure that he respects the mourning and celebrations of the death of George Floyd. But I think that, again, what's lost is this was an area pre-George Floyd that was a thriving business area, about thriving business community. And now has become a place where people don't want to frequent because crime is so high in the area, and specifically gun violence. And until that is addressed, and I had the opportunity to speak with one of the council persons the other day, Wednesday, and she expressed the fact that she wanted the barricades removed, and that her wish was to see the crime eradicated, but she was for the removal of the barricades soon.
Yeah, it's an ongoing debate, and I think it's a delicate balance. And Jamar, I just want to thank you for taking the time to come and join us this morning, giving us more of an insight into what the feel is like here at the Cup Foods. Please send my best, of course, to Mahmoud and his family running the store. We'll see them soon as well. But thank you so much, Jamar.
Thanks for having me. Have a good morning.